Your favorite freight dispatch trainer, Antoine West, back at you guys with another video. In today's video, what I'm going to be talking to you guys about is thinking outside the box, non-traditional methods to increase profits in trucking, right? But before we get into today's video, if you guys want to save 25% off on any of my training and mentorship programs, make sure you go to my website, antoinewest.biz. You can type that in to your computer, antoinewest.biz, or make sure you scan that QR code that's up on your website right now. That would take you directly to my website, and type in code 423 4TH23 to save 25% off any of my training and mentorship programs. But during this video, what I want to talk to you guys about is the problem with the trucking industry, right? So this video is for owner operators. I know there's a lot of problems within the trucking industry, a lot of high fuel prices, high insurance prices, with sometimes not as much profit as you will want within your trucking business. So this video is for owner operators, but also for dispatchers, because I believe this is the future of dispatching. The future, when dispatching first started, it was all about finding loads, finding the highest dollar loads for your owner operators, right? So you as a freight dispatcher, that's what you should still be doing. But on into the future of freight dispatching is you as a freight dispatcher thinking of any way possible to add additional profit to your owner operator, to the trucking business that you're dispatching for. Don't stop at dispatching. Think of any value possible you can add to the trucking industry, right? So that's why I tell you guys, sometimes I don't like titles. The reason I don't like titles is because if you give yourself any title, but think about it, if you give yourself the title of a freight dispatcher, what you're going to do, you're going to try to handle all the duties of a freight dispatcher, right? Not saying there's anything bad with that, but you're cutting off the source of all other types of value, right? Because you're just thinking that you're a freight dispatcher, right? So instead of giving yourself the title of a freight dispatcher, give yourself the title of a logistics specialist, right? A trucking coordination specialist, right? So I would give myself another title so I could include, the full range, the full spectrum of value that I could give to my owner operators, right? So if you give yourself the title as a dispatcher, you're locking yourself into only the duties that a dispatcher does, right? If you give yourself that title, that's the only thing that you're going to think about, and you're basically limiting yourself, right? Because there's a lot of other value that you can bring to owner operators. So this video, owner operators, this video is for you. I recommend that you listen to this video in full, and also freight dispatchers, because if you listen to this video, you can find out ways that you can add additional profit to your owner operator. So this is going to be about traditional and non-traditional ways to add profit into a trucking business. Owner operators, if you listen to this video, you'll learn some ways to add additional profit, and you'll learn more about business. But if you want 25% off any of my training and mentorship programs, just make sure you click that QR code or go to my website, antoinewest.biz, and enter the code 423 at checkout to save 25%, right? So this video, I'm going to tell you guys the problem with the trucking industry. I already figured out the problem with the trucking industry, right? So this is the problem. The problem is sometimes you have higher fuel prices, you have higher insurance costs, the price of parts and to repair a truck is going up, right? So you have all these expenses always going up in a trucking company, right? But bigger business, any business that you're in, if you have your expenses going up, or in your personal life right now, if you haven't started a business and your expenses is going up, the same in your personal life or starting a business. If your expenses are rising, what you need to do is stop thinking about those expenses, right? Because thinking about those expenses rising, as an owner operator thinks about the insurance costs, the fuel costs rising, that doesn't do any good, right? That's outside your internal locus of control, right? You thinking of, as an owner operator, you thinking about rising fuel costs, no matter how much you think about that, won't reduce the fuel costs, right? But in any business, if you're having problems with your expenses rising, what you need to do is stop thinking about those expenses rising and think about ways or ideas to increase profit, right? That's anybody, right? To go from broke to wealthy. That what you need to do is stop thinking about being broke. Stop thinking about all the things that come with being broke, and you need to lock your mind onto an idea like freight dispatching or becoming an owner operator. Something that's going to draw in more revenue into your personal life, into your business, right? So thinking about where you're at now as an owner operators, if you're thinking about high fuel prices, if you're thinking about high insurance prices, those thoughts aren't going to help decrease those prices at all. And really you're wasting time, right? So as an owner operator, this is the answer for the entire trucking industry, right? People can talk about rates being low. They can talk about high insurance prices, high fuel prices. They can talk about that forever, right? That's not the answer. Talking about the problem isn't the answer. You can talk about and complain about any problem in life forever, and that's never going to solve the answer. The only thing that's going to solve the answer is looking for the solution. Seek and you will find, right? Seek and you will find. So what owner operators need to do, what if you're in a situation in your life and you want to make more profit, what you need to do is seek more profit. Don't put your attention on what's taking profit away from you. You're just going to lose money, and then you're going to blame it on the market, or you're going to blame it on high fuel prices, or you're going to blame it on insurance when you have plenty. The thing is, in business, in any business, even in a trucking business, you always have an unlimited amount of ways to add more revenue, right? But this is the problem. We look at what takes revenue away from us, and we lock our minds on that, right? And then through the law of attraction, like attracts like. So if you put your attention, if you put your mind on losing revenue, the only thing you're going to do is lose more revenue. And every time you think about losing revenue, and every time you complain, your words have power and they would not return to you in vain. So every time you complain to somebody about losing revenue or your business not going the way you want to, you manifest more of that into your business, right? But if you put your attention on what you want, which is more profit. Any business owner wants more profit. You want more revenue, which leads to more profit, right? So what owner operators need to do is put their attention on more revenue, right? And where I'm coming at you guys with this is in any industry, right? People say the trucking industry is oversaturated. Dispatching is oversaturated. Some people say that, right? But in any industry over time, take for example, the car industry, right? The auto dealership, any industry, just like the auto dealership industry or just like the trucking industry, as more people come into the industry offering the same amount of value, offering the same services, it gets quote unquote oversaturated, right? But it's more people coming into the trucking industry, it's more people becoming owner operators, it's more people becoming dispatchers, but they're offering the same amount of value. Freight dispatchers are coming into this industry offering the same amount of value. Owner operators, yeah, I know traditionally as an owner operator, you think that you're going to start a trucking business and you're going to drop loads off, right? That's how you're going to make your profit. But that's the purpose of this video. You need to think of non-traditional ways also, right? You don't need to think about how everyone ran their trucking business before you. You don't need to think about everything other owner operators are doing, because if you only think about that, you're only going to manifest the same thing. You're just going to jump in your truck and you're only going to make money off of dropping loads off. But it's non-traditional ways too. It's other ways to make money as an owner operator other than dropping loads off. And how it goes in other industries, and including trucking. Trucking isn't any different. Once you implement some of those non-traditional ways into your trucking company, you implement other streams of income. This is a problem with owner operators. Owner operators think they can get into trucking. They think they can become an owner operator and their business stays the same for 20 years, right? For 10 years, even for 5 years. Businesses don't survive from staying the same for 3 or 5 years or 20 years. But if you look at trucking, everybody comes into trucking and they don't try to advance their business. They don't try to scale their business, right? It don't matter what industry you're in. If you get into an industry and you don't try to scale, if you don't scale the business is going to fail, right? You're going to not draw in enough cash flow. That's what's going on with owner operators. They aren't bringing in enough cash flow, and they're not thinking about additional streams of revenue to add on to their business. So with trucking, with owner operators, if owner operators think about additional streams of income to bring into their business, what would happen is those additional streams of income would add up to be so much money, they wouldn't have to drive a truck anymore, right? This is any business, right? This is not just trucking. Usually any business, when you start that business, after adding additional streams of income, your primary stream of income in trucking, this would be dropping off loads. After adding additional stream of income in as an owner operator, after those additional streams of income are added, those additional streams of income can add up to be more than your primary income, and that's dropping off loads, right? So any business that you're in, if you're having debt add up in your personal business. So I'm the type, I feel like even if I was an employee working for a job right now, that's my personal business. You know, all the income that I have coming in adds up to be my personal business, right? So even if you're an employee working a job and you want to make more money in your personal business, what you need to do is add additional streams of income. Or when you start a company, if you start a business, if you start a freight dispatch business or any business and you're making a lot of money at first, and then that money starts to die down, starts to decrease, what you need to do is add additional streams of income, right? So in the trucking industry, as an owner operator, you have your traditional forms of income, right? So that could be, as you see the map behind me, that could be keeping your truck in high paying lanes, keeping your truck in high paying regions, right? So a load going from Indiana to Pennsylvania somewhere that's, let's say that's 700 miles, right? Or let's say it's going from Ohio to Pennsylvania, that's 700 miles, wherever it's going to, wherever it's picking up from in Ohio and going to Pennsylvania for 700 miles. That 700 miles from Ohio to Pennsylvania isn't going to pay the same amount of money from Utah to Wyoming. You know, that 700 miles in Utah to Wyoming is not going to pay the same amount of money for 700 miles in Ohio and Pennsylvania, right? So you can keep your truck in high paying lanes, right? That's a traditional way. I'm going to name some traditional ways and some non-traditional ways, right? And like I said, I'm about business. It's not about trucking. Once you can be successful in any business, once you're just a successful business person, you can be successful in any business, right? So in trucking, as owner operators are only focused on traditional ways. And a lot of owner operators aren't focused on all the traditional ways. But I would reiterate to you guys, anytime you're having a problem in business, if your problem is not making enough money, even in your personal life, if your problem is not making enough money, what you need to do is forget about not making enough money, because remembering not making enough money isn't going to help you make more money. What you need to do is forget about not making enough money and then think about all the ideas that you can to increase revenue, right? So anytime you want to attract more wealth into your life, no matter if it's your personal life as an employee or your business life, no matter what business or owner operator. And what I'm telling you guys, it's all the same, right? You got to think of more ways to make money. Thinking about not having the amount of money that you want personally or in a $1 million business, just like it won't help out $1 million business for the leaders to be thinking about the money they're losing, it won't help you out personally either, right? So that's the good thing about starting a business. You realize that for yourself and for any business that you start. So then for myself, I don't think about what's losing me money, right? But if you look at the trucking industry, you can look at all the content, mostly all the content about the trucking industry. All that people really talk about is the problems in the trucking industry, right? If we really want to change the trucking industry, what we need to think about is all the ideas of how to make more money, how to manifest more money, right? The content creators on social media would need to only start talking about how owner operators can make more money. And then what that would do is lock owner operators' minds on how to make more money, and that would start rising up within us. We would start thinking of ideas all the time to make more money. But since most of the content and everything in the trucking industry is focused on the problems, then we just create more problems, right? That's what's creating all the problems in the trucking industry, right? So it takes a lot deeper knowledge to see this stuff, right? But traditional ways that a trucking company can make more money, we went over the first one: keep your truck in high-paying lanes. Number 2, oversized loads. If you have a step deck or a flatbed truck, you would need to offer oversized loads, right? Because oversized loads pay more money. You generate more revenue with oversized loads rather than your traditional regular loads, right? Another way is have a lease on program, right? So as an owner operator, I would have a lease on program where I lease on other truck drivers, other owner operators to my company, other owner operators who don't have their own authority, right? Because we all know in trucking, a lot of truck drivers, a lot of owner operators don't want their own authority. They don't want to have to go through the paperwork. They don't want to have to go through setting it up. They don't want to have to go through finding direct shippers, right? Saying that's another way to find direct shippers where you don't have to go through the broker, right? So as an owner operator, if you find direct shippers, now you are earning higher revenue because the broker or the middleman doesn't get their cut out of that, right? So these are just a few traditional ways. You can find them all on the internet, right? Again, go to my website, AntoineWest.biz, to save 25% off of any of my training and mentorship programs. Happy Independence Day. So those are traditional ways. But the thing that gets me, and I see it even in people who mentor with me or people who I train in business, the thing you got to realize, any business that you're in, including trucking, nobody's stopping you from thinking of more ways to attract additional revenue, right? I get a lot of questions from my students. Oh, can I do this? Can I be a dispatcher and a broker at the same time? Nobody's stopping you, right? Nobody's saying, oh, you're a dispatcher, so you can't be a broker. Nobody's telling owner operators, oh, you're an owner operator, so you can't be a dispatcher, right? I see this ever since I got into trucking. I see this all the time, especially in the Facebook trucking groups, right? You see owner operators talking down about dispatchers, right? But I'm thinking, if I'm an owner operator, I'm going to add a dispatching service onto my company and make more money. I don't care about the title, right? I don't care about I'm an owner operator or I'm a dispatcher or I'm a broker, right? I'm not a type person to say that I'll give myself the title of a dispatcher and then I'm going to talk down brokers. Oh, brokers are doing this, brokers are doing that, right? I don't care about the title, right? I care about the money, the cash flow, right? So that's why I'm saying for owner operators, there's a lot of owner operators that complain about dispatchers, but you just go out and be a dispatcher too and add that as an additional stream of revenue into your trucking company, right? Because complaining isn't going to do any good, right? But if you become a dispatcher too, that's another stream of income into your trucking business. So getting into some of the non-traditional ways of earning money into a trucking business. But we're going to wait. I'm going to take a slight pause before I get into that, right? Because what I want you guys to know, this is what I want you guys to know. The state that the trucking industry is in right now happens to many other industries, all industries, right? So where the trucking industry is at right now, all the owner operators are primarily focused on making revenue off the primary source of income, and that's picking up and dropping off loads, right? So a lot of businesses start off with this. I'm going to get into the automotive industry, right? Before I tell you guys about some non-traditional ways for owner operators to make money within their business, I'm going to get into the automotive industry. So the automotive industry, they started off with car sales, and still to this day, that's the primary source of revenue for the automotive industry, right? So what I'm telling you guys, as an owner operator in trucking, as a dispatcher, any business, you have to add additional forms of revenue. So the automotive industry started off with car sales. So the primary source of income, I got a few notes I'm going to read off to you guys real quick. But car sales, the primary source of income for auto dealerships is through selling and new and used vehicles and dealership markups. They mark up the price that they get it for wholesale, right? So dealerships get cars at a wholesale price and they mark up these prices and sell them to the average person coming into the dealership. Of course, that's how dealerships make money, right? But another additional source of revenue, they do financing and insurance. Dealerships can make money through financing and insurance products that they sell to customers. This includes arranging loans and offering extended warranties and insurance policies. So if you go and buy a car, they're going to try to offer you an extended warranty and insurance policy. So that's another additional form of revenue for a auto dealership, right? We're going to get into trucking in a minute, but my point is trucking only has, most owner operator only have one source of revenue, right? Even as an individual, if your job is the only source of revenue, you're only dependent on one source of revenue, right? As a business owner, I don't want to depend on one business. I don't want to depend on one source of revenue. I am scared of doing that, right? For, you know, my sake, for my family's sake, as being the provider in my family, I'm scared just to depend on one single job as my source of revenue. As an owner operator, I would be scared of just depending on dropping off loads for my only single source of revenue, right? But for most people, that's normal, right? Because that's all they ever hear. That's all they ever think about, right? But any business would fail if you only have one source of revenue, right? I'm talking about the automotive dealerships, right? Automotive industry, how dealerships profit besides car sales. Another way is parts and service. Dealerships also make money from the parts and service department. This includes repair, maintenance, and the sale of parts and accessories, right? So the dealership is going to charge you for the parts, and they're also going to charge you for the maintenance. And they charge you for the car when you buy the car, right? So they want to make money on you after you buy the car. If they just let the cash flow stop when you buy the car, they're losing out on a lot of money. Just like owner operators. Owner operators are only picking up loads and dropping off loads because it's a trucking company. So I know the normal person would think, well, this is what I have to do. This is how I earn revenue in a trucking company. But it's more additional ways to add revenue into a trucking company, which I will talk about soon. Also, car dealerships, they make money off vehicle trade-ins. Dealerships can make money from trading in used cars. They buy used cars from customers at a lower price and resell it at a profit. We all know when we trade in a car to the dealership, this is the reason why I always find a private seller, because the dealership, when that salesperson is buying my used car or we're trading it in, of course that salesperson is thinking about how much money they're trying to give me a low amount for my car, of course, and then they're thinking about how much they can sell the car for when I'm negotiating for the new car that I want to get, right? So that's how they're figuring out how they can make money during this whole transaction. If you bought a car, if you ever bought a car, you can tell by the questions dealerships ask, salespersons ask, they're adding up the money in their head as they talk to you, right? Because that's another way that the dealership makes the money, right? So that's trade-ins, leasing. An auto dealership can make money by leasing vehicles to customers who prefer not to buy. So if you lease a vehicle, that dealership is going to be making money off of you. That's another way. Fleet sales. Another way dealerships make money is by selling a large number of vehicles at once to businesses or rental companies. So I don't own a car dealership, but I would say that's probably like a lump sum, more a way, instead of just selling one car at a time, we're going to move about 20 cars at a time to a company, to a rental agency, right? So another way is after sales services. This includes rust proofing, paint sealing, fabric protection, and other additional services that the dealership may offer this after the sale of a vehicle. Vendor rebates. Auto manufacturers often provide incentives or rebates to dealerships for selling certain models of cars, which can also add to the revenue, right? So that's just a couple ways that auto dealerships make money besides just selling the car, right? My point of this is that owner operators, truck drivers, they're only delivering loads. They're only making money off of one source of revenue. But I believe most owner operators are complaining about this, complaining about the market, complaining about dispatchers, complaining about brokers. But I believe if owner operators would just sit down, just like me, I sit down with my tablet here and I think of additional ways to make money, right? So I think anybody in any business, if money is the problem, what you need to do is sit down and just think about all the additional ways to make money. So I just went over car dealerships, auto manufacturers, how all the additional ways that they make money, right? So before we get into trucking, how owner operators can increase their revenue, because it's always about increasing revenue, right? In any business, in your personal life now, what you want to do is increase revenue, right? So why are we thinking about things? If I'm an owner operator and we can say a broker, right? A broker with low rates, that doesn't increase my revenue. So I'm not gonna think about that. I'm not gonna talk about that to anybody. I'm not gonna make posts on social medias about brokers, right? If I don't feel like brokers are increasing my revenue, I'm not gonna talk about low rates with brokers, because that's not gonna change anything. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna think about all the additional ways I can increase my revenue, and I'm only going to think about that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to manifest that into the market. Basically, I'm going to come up with a system to add all that additional value. So as an owner operator, if you come up with a lease on program, right, you're leasing on other owner operators that don't have their own authority, and you're charging them a percentage. This could be 20%, right? So this is a low overhead way for owner operators to make more money, to increase their revenue, right? So if fuel prices go up, but you think of an additional way, like coming up with a lease on program to lease on other owner operators to your authority, then your revenue rises, right? Your profit rises, right? It's all about the bottom line, right? It don't matter how much money is going out the door. Of course, you want to try to keep as much money as possible, but it's all about profit, right? So if you have something that you can't control, like fuel prices taking more money away from you, like maintenance taking more money away from you, the only thing you need to do is think about increasing revenue, right? Because that's what's going to increase profit, and having a business is all about increasing profit. Profit is your bottom line, right? So one more industry before we talk about the trucking industry. My point is the trucking industry, most people in the trucking industry, most owner operators only have one source of revenue, and that's their primary source of revenue. But any business that you get into, you start with one primary source of revenue, and then you add additional sources of revenue in, right? So for owner operators failing because of high fuel prices or low rate, it's kind of your own fault, because you're not thinking of additional ways to add more revenue. Any business that you come into, you never depend on anything in the outside world. You never complain about the market. You never complain about anything. The only thing you do is come up with ideas within yourself to add revenue to your business, right? Because complaining about things that you can't control just wastes time within your business. So a restaurant, they make money off of food and beverage sales. This is the core revenue system, the core revenue stream, where customers pay for the food and drinks they consume, right? So that's the primary way a restaurant makes money, right? Another way a restaurant can make money is through catering services. Restaurants can provide food for special events such as wedding, corporate events, and parties, right? So if I'm a restaurant and I'm only selling food and beverages in my location, I'm missing out on people who have a wedding coming up, or who have a corporate event coming up that want that corporate event or wedding catered, right? Depending on the food I have in my restaurant, they might want that food catered at their wedding, right? And of course, you can charge a good amount of money because weddings are important to people. So for adding that catering service in, that's going to increase my profit a lot into my restaurant, right? If I have one. Also, another thing that would increase my profit is delivery services. In the digital age, many restaurants partner with food delivery apps or offer their own delivery service, right? So if I'm sitting here at home and I want something from a restaurant, if I got to go and get it if it's late night, maybe I'm just going to, settle for something out the fridge, right? But if they have delivery service, I'm going to get it delivered to me, right? So instead of settling for something out the fridge, I'm going to opt in to have it delivered, right? So that's more revenue going to the restaurant. Additional way of a restaurant making money. And you can see this. What I want you guys to do is see it all around you. why I kick out this knowledge is so you can see it all around you, see all the different revenue streams that industries offer. And then when you look at the trucking industry, most trucking companies they only have one primary source of revenue. And I do agree the average person would think, well, I own a trucking company. That's what I'm doing. That's my primary source of revenue. How could I make money doing anything else besides trucking? That's the problem. Everybody's trucking, right? You get me? All the owner operators are trucking, and that's all they're doing is trucking. So they're missing out on other revenue streams. There's always an unlimited amount of revenue streams you can add to your business or your personal life. You know, back when I was struggling with my personal finances, I would still be struggling if I didn't add additional streams of revenue, right? So my point again, this is personal life, this is business, this is trucking, this is restaurants, this is the automotive industry, this is just business, right? So that's why I teach you guys to be successful in business, and then you can take that to whatever industry you want to, right? So we were at delivery services, we went over that. Selling merchandise, branded merchandise such as t-shirts, mugs, or sauces can be additional source of income. How many restaurants do you see doing that? They're doing that because that's adding more income to their business, right? Selling t-shirts, selling sauce, selling hot sauce, or any type of sauce that the restaurant offers in-house. They sell it in bottles, or another way, they can sell it online too, right? That's another way. They can sell their sauce, their ingredients online. They have cooking classes. Some restaurants offering cooking classes to teach customers how to make their favorite dishes, right? And if you're just joining me on the live, or if you just after the live, if you're watching the recorded video, I still have that 25% off sale. It's going to be going on to July 6th to Thursday, July 6th. And you can save 25% on any courses on my website. But what I'm going over now is I'm teaching you guys about traditional and non-traditional ways to make money in any industry. And my point is that in trucking, we primarily focus on traditional ways, dropping off loads, but in any business, there's an unlimited amount of ways to make profit. And nobody's stopping you, nobody's stopping you as long as it's legal. You come up with an idea, a product or service to offer to your customers, and you as a business owner, you can come up with whatever price you want. If somebody's willing to pay you for that price, then they can pay you for it. If they're not willing, they don't have to pay you. Just as in trucking, if someone wants a dispatcher, they can sign up and have a dispatcher. If they don't want one, nobody's forcing them to have a dispatcher. It's a free market economy, right? So you can make it here in the United States, in this free market economy, you can make money however you want to, as long as it's legal. However you want to add additional services to your trucking business or your dispatch business, you can. You don't have to wait till I say it on social media. You don't have to wait till you hear someone else say it on social media, because you're wasting time and you're hurting your business, right? So that's one of the main points of this video too, is you don't have to wait for anyone or ask anyone, oh, can I add this service to my business? Because I tell you what, I'm not waiting on anybody, because that's what makes me revenue, and that's what makes my family, that feeds my family, puts food on the table, lets me enjoy nice vacations, and it allows me to make money with my own ideas, and I don't have to go to a job and listen to what somebody else tells me to do for money, right? All right, getting back into it. So, hosting events. A restaurant can host events such as wine tasting, theme nights, or live music, which can attract customers and additional revenue. All type of different ways to add revenue to any business, right? They can rent out space, right? So if the restaurant has additional space, it can be rented out for private events. That's another way to add revenue. Make your monthly revenue increase. They can sell gift cards. Restaurants can sell gift cards, which not only bring them immediate revenue, but also ensure future visits. I like gift cards. Think about it. When you got a gift card, any business, I'm all about teaching the business side of this. So if a restaurant has a gift card, if I go to a restaurant and I purchase a gift card, or if I purchase one online for $100, right? That restaurant has already generated $100 extra into their company. but they haven't gave me anything, right? I haven't got any food or any drinks or anything to, if I purchase that gift card for someone else, they haven't got anything until they take that gift card and they go into the restaurant and get food or drinks, right? So a lot of restaurants, of course, probably make a lot of money because people are purchasing their gift cards and not using them, right? So as a restaurant, and I'm telling you this is how it goes in business, a lot of restaurants do that because they like, this is free money. A lot of people are going to purchase gift cards and never use them. So why wouldn't a restaurant do that to make additional money? Or onto that, a lot of people are going to take that $100 gift card and go in, but the bill is going to be $150, right? So now they made that $100 in total revenue, not profit, but they got that $100 and now they got $50 more. And the thing is, that person that received the gift card, maybe they wouldn't even have went to the restaurant if they didn't get the gift card. But they got a $100 gift card and now they came into the restaurant and spent $50 extra. So $150 total. So this is just business, right? Licensing and franchising. A successful restaurant can license its name or franchise its business to expand and generate more income. So this is kind of like leasing on another owner operator in the trucking business. So we're going to push through these last couple ones, but partnering with local farms and suppliers, right? They can have ingredients, they can have products that they sell alongside with local farms and suppliers. Another one, I don't have it in my notes, but a restaurant can sell their products at farmers markets if they're organic, or even if they're not, but especially if they're organic, they can sell them there. Alcohol sales, right? So my main point is just to show you guys, in any business there's an unlimited amount of ways to make profit, but in trucking we're focused only on the primary way, right? But to wrap this up, right, so I saved the best for last. I have a couple non-traditional ways for truck drivers, for owner operators to make profit. Because if a truck driver, owner operator, just in any of these businesses that I named, auto dealerships, restaurants, if a restaurant comes in and has a grand opening and they have that brick and mortar store and they only have dine-in orders, they will last for a few months, right? But what they would need to do is start adding all these additional ways, all these additional streams of income that I just named to you guys, right? The same as an owner operator. If an owner operator comes into the game and he or she is just picking up and delivering loads, you can last for some time, right? But you need to add additional streams of income to increase your profit. And what's going to happen is those additional streams of income is going to take over your primary stream of income. And then after that, you probably won't even need to drive a truck anymore because you're going to be making so much money in these other streams of income, right? That's just business. That's business 101, right? But this is why I say a lot of truck drivers, they don't know this business side. A lot of owner operators don't know the business side, and they're not executing tactically, right? So advertising program, I mentioned this a while with you guys, an advertising program. Owner operators, if they have a drive-in or a reefer trailer, they can have an advertising program where they advertise other people's businesses on the side of their trailer, right? Because as an owner operator, having your logo, your business name on the side of your drive-in trailer, that doesn't make any money at all. So you're wasting money, right? That's the way I look at it. As an owner operator, that's how I would look at it, right? But I would think, I would get to thinking that, well, it's probably some other businesses by having their business on the side of my trailer that could make them money and make me money too, because I would charge them for this service. So business is about creating win-win situations, right? So if I'm an owner operator, I got a drive-van trailer, I'm not going to complain about brokers. I'm not going to complain about rates. I'm going to keep my truck in the highest paying regions, do everything that I can, the normal trucking, traditional trucking things that I can to increase revenue. But then after I do all of them, I'm going to think about everything. I'm literally going to have a piece of paper or my note or tablet, and I'm going to write down, if I'm an owner operator, I'm going to write down all the traditional ways to increase profit in my business, and then I'm going to start executing on them, right? And that's going to boost my profit some, right? right? I'm going to think that. And then when I look on my profit and loss statements, I'm going to see my revenue rising, right? So any business that I'm in, including if I was an owner operator, I'm going to use my thoughts and my ideas, and then I'm going to go to my income statement, and I'm a business owner, right? This is what business is about, right? After I use my thoughts and ideas and implement that into my business, I'm going to look at my income statement, and I'm going to see my income rising with my thoughts and ideas, right? Real business right here, right? So I'm going to have an advertising program where I'm going to create, if I'm an owner operator, I'm going to create my own advertising program, and I'm going to advertise. I'm going to start Googling businesses and calling these businesses and see if I can get deals where I can advertise that business on the side of my trailer, right? If I'm an owner operator with one truck, I'm going to see if I have a flatbed or step deck. Of course, I can't do that on a flatbed or step deck. So this is just the option for owner operators with enclosed trailers. Just the option for box trucks, right? So I'm going to start calling around to businesses and offering, I'm going to offer that I put their logo, their phone number, their website on the side of my enclosed trailer. And as a business owner, I'm just going to throw a number out there to see what works, right? So maybe I would start at $2,000 a month, right? So as an owner operator, I'm going to think of a way. I don't care what the other owner operators are doing. I don't care what people are talking about on social media. I don't care. I'm not trying to join or be cool with other owner operators that's complaining about the market or complaining about dispatches, right? I'm going to let them do that. And I'm going to think at my own idea to come up with an advertising program. And I'm charging companies $2,000 a month to advertise their business on the side of my trailer. And I'm still running lows. That's not affecting me, right? The only thing that's doing is making $2,000 a month show up in my business account, show up in my bank account automatically without doing any extra work. So if that's $2,000 a month, that's $24,000 a year. We'll round it up to $25,000. Now, as an owner operator, I'm making an extra $25,000 in my trucking business, right? And then me, just with my mind, I'm going to get smart. Even if I only have one truck, I'm going to say, well, there's other owner operators out there that could benefit from this too, right? And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell the businesses, I have more trucks. I have hundreds of trucks that I can advertise your business on, right? And I'm going to tell them that, and then I'm going to reach out to other owner operators, and I'm going to tell them, Jay, do you want to make an extra $12,000 a year? I have companies willing to pay you $1,000 a month right now just for advertising their company on the side of your truck. So this is going to put $12,000 extra a year into your business, right? For free, without doing any extra work, right? But then when I talk to the companies to advertise, I'm telling them $2,000, right? So now as an owner operator, I got my truck making an extra $2,000 a month. Even if I don't have any other trucks, I've networked with other I'm creating win-win situations, right? So I network with other owner operators, and I'm giving them $1,000 to advertise somebody's business on their truck, and I'm keeping $1,000 to myself. So now I'm thinking about each owner operator that I get, I'm adding $12,000 worth of revenue onto my business a year, right? So this is why I'm telling you guys, I don't really be going to people outside of myself for answers about revenue, right? I'm going to think about the idea myself. And then what I'm going to tell you, if you're an owner operator and you implement something like this, the same with my life or anybody's life, right? Once you implement these ideas yourself and start making money from them, you're going to think of higher ideas, right? That's how business goes, right? If you are new to business, right? Once you implement the ideas you have about business, once you believe in yourself and take those ideas and put in the work to make those ideas happen, you're going to make money off of those ideas. And then that's going to lead to you're going to strengthen up your mind, basically strengthen up your subconscious mind to think of other ideas, and then those ideas are going to come to you. So that's how I am now. Ideas just come to me, right? And I don't have to ask people outside myself. So one non-traditional way is the advertising program, right? Another non-traditional way for owner operators to make money is a mentorship program, right? I don't care if I'm an owner operator, I've been in business a year or 3 years, or it could be longer than that. But my point is, I could only be in business a year or two, right? But I know I would have a certain amount of knowledge that new owner operators just coming into the game, just having their authority go active today. If I'm an owner operator for 3 years, I have a certain amount of knowledge that I can sell to new owner operators, right? On how to survive their first couple of months, how to survive their first year, right? Where to get securement equipment from, what to do if this goes wrong. So if I'm an owner operator and I got a few years in the game, I'm going to be on the FMCSA website and I'm going to be calling in new owner operators to offer them a mentorship program, right? And this is something I can do while I'm driving the truck from a headset. This is something I can do during my rest time when at the truck stop. You know, most likely maybe myself and the other owner operators that I'm mentoring, we are at a separate truck stop all the way across the company together at the same time. Maybe we shut down for the night at the same time, and I can call him and offer him that weekly mentorship, right? Maybe if I'm an owner operator, I have a weekly mentorship program where I charge $100 per week to new owner operators, and I give them any advice that I can, right? Win-win situation. You as the owner operator, you're going to get more cash flow coming into your business, and the new owner operator that you're mentoring, they're going to have more cash flow coming into their business too, because they're taking the knowledge that you're giving them and they're using it, and that's helping them to increase their revenue, right? So far for non-traditional ways for owner operators to make money is to have an advertising program, is to have a mentorship program, right? Nobody's telling, it's not a law out there from the FMCSA or the government or anybody telling owner operators that you can't mentor other owner operators, right? The only person stopping you is you, right? So in business, any business that you're in, trucking or any other business, the only person ever stopping you for increasing your revenue is your own self. It's not the economy. It's nothing else. It's nothing that the industry's oversaturated. You're not getting over the oversaturation in the industry because you're not using your mind to make you money, right? A dispatch service, right? You got so many owner operators complaining about dispatching, right? If I'm an owner operator, I'm not complaining about a dispatchers or a dispatching service, right? This is where I'm not trying to fit in with other owner operators and say, oh, dispatching services are the problem. They don't do anything, right? They just take our money. If I'm an owner operator, I'm never thinking that thought, and I'm never saying it out my mouth, and I'm never posting it on social media, right? If I'm an owner operator, what I'm doing, instead of spending my thought and my words talking about dispatchers, I'm spending my thought and my words to build my own dispatching service, right? And if I'm an owner operator, if I do it myself or if I hire someone on to help me build my dispatch service, I'm going to build a dispatch service, and now that's an extra $100,000 a year onto my trucking business. That's an extra $200,000 a year onto my trucking business. And really, I'm getting out the truck. I'm not driving anymore. That's if I'm an owner operator, right? But like I said, guys, I don't have my CDL. I've never been an owner operator. I'm just a business person. I just try to look at everything from a business standpoint, right? Hey, thanks, whoever scanned the QR code. Thanks for scanning. Go to my website, save 25% off by scanning that QR code or typing in AntoineWest.biz. That sale is to Thursday. It's Thursday at midnight, right? But any business, think about revenue, right? Like attracts like thoughts manifest to like circumstances in the physical world. So if I'm always thinking about revenue, that's going to earn me more revenue in the physical world, right? And the less I think about revenue, the less I think about problems in my personal life, problems with someone else, or as an owner operator, the less I think about, oh, dispatchers are the problem, oh, brokers are the problem. The less I think about all that and just focus my attention on how to increase revenue, I'm going to have more revenue in my life. So anybody, personal life, stop thinking about problems, stop thinking about other people, stop complaining, stop doing everything, and just think about more revenue, and you're going to manifest more revenue in your personal life, in your trucking business, whatever, right? So as an owner operator, I would definitely have a dispatch service, right? Basically what I would do is train somebody else up. Since I'm already running a trucking business as an owner operator, I'm going to think about, well, since I'm doing this, it should be pretty easy for me to start a dispatch service, right? So instead of talking about the dispatch services, I'm just going to start one myself, and out of nowhere, I'm going to have an extra $200,000, right? And then other owner operators are going to be failing, and they're going to wonder how I'm doing so good, but I'm not only focusing my attention on one primary source of income, I'm thinking about that primary source of income and 10 other sources of income too, right? Broker. Owner operators can start a brokerage firm, right? Stop complaining about dispatchers, stop complaining about brokerages, and start one your damn self, right? I hope my point is getting through to people, right? Start one your damn self, right? To make more money. Start a brokerage firm. Owner operators, you can always go out and get a brokerage authority, right? Start one for yourself. Broker loads out to other owner operators, right? Find shippers for your own trucking company, right? As a carrier, right? Stop complaining and start thinking of ways to make additional revenue. Trailer rental program, right? This is something you can do as an owner operator. As a dispatcher, you can start a trailer rental program, right? Like I said, I'm always going to make money in this industry, right? Because I have the ideas of how to make money. What you guys got to realize is you want to use your leverage. It's always a lot of people looking to sell their trailers, right? Or sell or rent their trailers. Probably more so with sell their trailers than rent them out, right? But what I would do is I would try to grow a large audience, get a lot of contacts of people trying to sell or rent out their trailers. And then I would get with owner operators who just have power only units or who are looking to rent or sell a trailer. This could be a trailer rental program or a trailer purchase program. Basically, I would be the middleman on that too. As an owner operator or as a dispatcher, I would have a trailer rental program. I would get with people who want to sell or rent out their trailers. And then I would get with people who are looking to buy or rent out trailers, right? And then I would use my leverage. And if someone wants to sell their trailer, maybe I would talk to them about renting out their trailer. Basically tell them we can get faster movement. You know, if you want to rent out your trailer, it's going to be easier for you to rent out your trailer to someone than to sell your trailer to someone, right? And I would basically get an agreement together with that person who owns their trailer on how much they want to rent out their trailer for, right? Basically get an agreement saying, just to throw out a number, we're going to say, keep it easy, keep it simple, $500 per month, right? So if I find a person that wants to that's willing to rent out their trailer for $500 a month, right? I'm going to go and I'm going to find an owner operator. You can do this as a dispatcher or you can do it as an owner operator. Don't matter. Stop getting so concerned with the titles, okay? You can do it as an owner operator. Basically find that person that's going to rent out their trailer for $500 a month. Find somebody else that's willing to rent the trailer, let's just say for $700 a month. So that's $200 profit every month for you, right? 200 times 12, right? That's 24,000, right? So for every one of those deals, you as an owner operator or you as a dispatcher, with a dispatch service, I would have a trailer rental program also, right? And I would know every one of those deals that I'm tying in, I'm adding $24,000 a year in profit to my dispatch service or to my trucking business as an owner operator, right? That's $24,000. We're going to round that up to $25,000. So my mind is going to tell me, well, after I get my first person to sign up with me to rent out that trailer for whatever price a month, but I'm just focused. I'm a leverage guy. I'm a middleman person, right? I'm focused on that profit that I can make for linking these two people up together, right? So if I can make $200 off of each trailer, that tells me I got an extra $24,000, let's say $25,000 a year, right? So now with my business mind, I'm thinking, well, if I get 4 people, that's an extra $100,000. Or if I'm not even in trucking and I spot this opportunity, I don't have to be, like I said, it's not about the titles. I don't need to be a owner operator to do this. I don't need to be a dispatcher. I could just be some person at home looking to make money and I see an opportunity. And then I know if I get four trailers leased out and I'm making $200 on a month on each of those trailers and I get 4, now I'm at 100,000, right? Now I think if I get eight trailers, I'm at 200,000, right? So this is just about breaking down the numbers and it's about using leverage. You want to be able to make money with no money. So the non-traditional ways that I went over today in today's video of how trucking companies can make money, this is what they need to do. As an owner operator, don't only focus on your primary source of income. Don't only focus on dropping off loads. You want to grow this into a passive income business. You want to work yourself out of the truck. You want to add on additional sources of revenue and be able to hire a driver and put in your truck and be done with trucking, right? Right? So the ways I went over for owner operator to generate, to attract non-traditional sources of revenue, non-traditional streams of revenue into your trucking business is the advertising program, is a mentorship program, is having a dispatch service, having a brokerage company, and having a trailer rental program onto your trucking business. But I just want to go over that with you guys today. But this is why the trucking industry is quote unquote failing, is because owner operators are just depending on dropping off loads and they're not thinking of non-traditional ways to generate income, right? Nobody's stopping an owner operator from generating income into their business any and every way that they please, as long as it's legal, right? So any business that I'm in, I'm just going to think of all the ways to add additional revenue to my business. I know there's no use of complaining about the market, complaining about rates, complaining about what other people are doing in their business. You know, I never believed that. I never believed what somebody else is doing in their business has any effect on me, right? What has an effect on my business is the ideas and how much work, how concentrated I am, how much attention and focus I show to my business every day. That's the only thing holding back any of my business goals. But if you guys need training or mentorship, make sure you guys go to my website, AntoineWest.biz. Scan the QR code. Once you get there, enter coupon code 423. But I thank you guys for watching this